shoot, let's talk about elevation masks real quick. So I'm sure you see people at the gym wearing those things that cover up their mouth. I'm wearing a mask right now because of the coronavirus thing, but this got brought to my attention by one of our followers who was like, hey, are elevation masks good for you? And I kind of dove into the research. Previously, I was super against them, but people are like, I'm gonna get better results if I wear one of those masks where you look like Bane and you sound like Bane too. It's like, right? And let's just talk about the research, okay? Let's not get into, oh, it looks stupid or it doesn't. It definitely looks stupid. But let's just talk about, does it have value for your aerobic training, right? People do that when they lift weights. If you're doing it to lift weights, stop. I mean, it's just inhibiting your performance in the weight room. The weight room is an anaerobic activity and should be treated as such, so don't wear one of those Bane masks in the weight room, unless you're wearing a fabric mask for the coronavirus, right? Which we encourage, okay? We're not talking about these fabric masks in this video, we're talking about the Bane ones. Outside of that, let's just talk about why it has value and why it doesn't. Does it change the barometric pressure of the air? The barometric pressure, if these were oxygen molecules, right? The air is made up of nitrogen, oxygen, and one other molecule that I can't think of right now. But here's like us in Texas at an elevation of 2,000 feet. And then here's you on a mountain at an elevation of 10,000 feet, right? That's why elevation training has so much value, is because your body, your lungs, your heart has to work harder to get the same amount of oxygen out of the air because there's just less oxygen in the air, okay? Unless the mask changes the barometric pressure of the air, which it does not, you do not get an elevation effect when you train. End of story. Yet you see all these other marketing companies out there talking about how it helps over here with inspiratory muscle strength and endurance, which is like your diaphragm, some of your internal obliques, other muscles that help you breathe in air. It strains those because you're just restricting your breath, so it's harder to breathe. It's harder to breathe, so those muscles get more work. That's the only value those things have. Now, does that help with aerobic capacity? Does it work with lactate threshold? Yes, it might, but the research is inconclusive on that. So really, once again, if the AVO2 difference is not affected, look that up, okay, if you want to quote me on this video. If it's not affected, you're not going to get the aerobic adaptations that you're really getting when you do elevation-based training, okay? So don't let them fool you. It is not an elevation mask. Yes, it does have value for certain types of training. Diaphragmatic breathing, right? People do that to slow down their PNS and CNS, their nervous systems. But do you want to do that while you work out and wear a mask and restrict your breathing? I don't know. It's up to you. So I hope this video helped you guys out. I'm sure it made you think a lot more about wearing that thing on your face. I'm not saying to do it or not to do it. I'm just saying that you need to understand what elevation training technically is. Like I said, lots of oxygen in the air or just a little bit of oxygen in the air. And a mask on your face is not going to create that difference that leads to this AVO2 difference, okay, which is the amount of oxygen that your lungs suck from the air and into your bloodstream and all that good stuff.